unveiling the reality of rental arbitrage. Pros, cons, and essential insights. In the world of real estate, where leverage creates opportunity, rental arbitrage has eliminated the loans and developed a strategy capturing the attention of aspiring property entrepreneurs. Rental arbitrage allows you to rent out a place you are renting, also called subletting. But like any investment, it has pros, cons, and risks. What is rental arbitrage? Rental arbitrage is a real estate investment strategy where individuals lease properties long-term from landlords or property owners and then list those properties on short-term rental platforms such as Airbnb, VRBO, or Booking.com. The aim is to generate higher profit from nightly or weekly stays. Calculate the difference between the long-term lease and the revenue from short-term guests to figure the profit. Subletting provides a false hope for generating passive income. It's not as passive as people make it out. Passive investment entails a minimal effort on your part. Unless you pay someone to manage your subletting, being actively involved in real estate ventures would be best. The steps: rent a location, furnish the unit, sublet the unit to short-term renters, vacation rental for 30 days or fewer, or long-term renters, more than a month.
My name is Susan, and I want to explain how I was successful. First, the house, though brimming with potential, needed a facelift. I saw an opportunity to transform a long-term lease into a welcoming short-term retreat. I allocated $5,000 to bring my vision to life. A fresh coat of paint to breathe freshness into the walls, carefully chosen furniture that would balance style and durability, decorations that would infuse personality into the space, and a well-stocked kitchen to cater to my guests' needs. The advantage of taking my time to prepare the property was twofold. Not only did it allow me to perfect every detail of the house, but it also enabled me to identify issues that required the landlord's attention. For instance, I discovered the air conditioning wasn't cooling the space adequately, and the guest shower had a slow drain. I politely communicated these concerns to my landlord, who, though not immediately, eventually addressed and resolved the issues before my first guest vacation began. The first guest arrival was a pivotal moment. My anticipation came to fruition as the travelers settled into the carefully curated space. I received payment for the rental the day after my guest arrival, signaling the start of a steady income stream. With the property booked most weeks out of the month, I had successfully established a reliable source of revenue.
Susan's business is a testament to the power of passion, creativity, and a willingness to take risks. Her story inspires those who dare to dream, showing that with dedication and a touch of ingenuity, even the most unassuming beginnings can lead to incredible success. What does it take to create a rental arbitrage? Property selection. Careful selection of properties in prime locations is crucial. Consider local attractions, accessibility, and demand for short-term stays. Negotiation skills. Successful rental arbitrage relies on securing favorable long-term lease terms with property owners. Strong negotiation skills can determine the profitability of the venture. Interior design. Properties must be furnished and maintained at a high level that appeals to short-term renters. Interior design involves choosing the right furniture, painting, and meticulously clean maintenance. Marketing and management. Effective marketing and managing your listings on short-term rental platforms are essential for maximizing occupancy rates and positive reviews. Honesty. When renting from a landlord or owner, you must be upfront with the landlord about your plans to sublet the unit. You'll want to add an addendum to the lease that allows you to sublet the unit on a short-term basis. This may not be necessary depending on the wording of the lease. You are more likely to get a rental when the location has been vacant.
I'm a go-getter. I learned that the number one word in business is knowledge. When I wanted to make money in real estate, I knew I could take on a lot of debt, called leverage, or minimize my liabilities and use rental arbitrage. Seeing an opportunity others overlooked, I found a house in the heart of a bustling city. Armed with ambition and a knack for strategic thinking, I ventured into rental arbitrage, turning an ordinary home into a profitable business venture. My journey began with location, a crucial aspect of my plan. I meticulously researched and scouted a house near a popular tourist destination. I understood convenience was a major draw for potential guests, and I wanted to provide the perfect location. As real estate agents say, the three most important parts of real estate are location, location, location. I also knew honesty was the best policy. To secure the lease for my chosen house, I approached the landlord with transparency. I explained my intentions and the nature of my business, subletting a home on a short-term basis to vacationers and travelers. This upfront approach built a foundation of trust and ensured a clear understanding from the outset. I added an extra page to the lease agreement to formalize my arrangement with the landlord. This page detailed my right to sublet the house and established terms under which I would operate my business. This extra step showed my commitment to following legal and ethical guidelines, even in a fast-paced world of short-term rentals. Recognizing that the success of my venture depended on a guest satisfaction, I invested in quality, well-built furniture. I understood my guests might include families with kids who love to jump on beds and explore every nook and cranny. My future choices were made with durability, ensuring that they could withstand enthusiastic vacationers and inevitable wear and tear. Cleanliness was a top priority for me to provide for my guests. I assembled a dedicated team of cleaners who swooped in after each guest's departure. This team would tidy up, change and wash the bedding and towels, and clean out the refrigerator. Regular monthly deep cleans were also set, ensuring the house maintained its welcoming appeal. Dusting, sweeping under the rugs, and even cleaning the baseboards. Marketing played a pivotal role in my success. I recognized to attract guests, I needed to catch their attention. I spent efforts to improve the position of my listing on the website by paying attention to how the algorithms placed the property. In the competitive world of short-term rentals, visibility was vital. While working with the algorithms cost me some upfront expenses and taking bookings for less money, I understood this investment would pay dividends in the long run, driving more bookings and boosting my profits. My meticulous planning and dedication yielded results as my time passed. My property gained favorable reviews and word of mouth spread. With each glowing testimonial, my business flourished. Once just a dwelling, this house had become a sought-after destination for travelers seeking comfort, convenience, and an unforgettable experience.
Susan's rental arbitrage was a testament to the power of careful planning, ethical conduct, and a commitment to excellence. Her story inspires others looking to turn their passion for hospitality into a successful venture, proving that even the most ambitious dreams can be realized with the right approach. What are the benefits of rental arbitrage? Profit potential. With only a few $1,000s invested, your return on investment, ROI, can be high. You'll have a low starting investment. Depending on the location, you can begin with as little as $7,000. But More likely closer to $10,000. The primary allure of rental arbitrage is the potential for significant higher returns than traditional long-term leasing. Quick to get started. You can have everything ready to rent within a few weeks. Cash flow. Once your unit rents, you earn revenue through the short-term rental app. Flexibility. Rental arbitrage offers flexibility to adapt to market trends and adjust pricing based on demand. Diversified income stream. By renting out multiple properties, you create an income stream from different locations, reducing risk. Scalable. Create more units as quickly as you set up the first. Minimal ownership hassles. Unlike owning a property, you're not responsible for major maintenance or property taxes. The landlord handles maintenance. The landlord bears the cost of insurance and property taxes on the dwelling. How much profit can rental arbitrage make? The profit potential in rental arbitrage can be appealing, with reports of investors making substantial returns, sometimes even doubling their investment. However, it's essential to factor in rent, utilities, furnishings, cleaning, and platform fees. Calculating net profit is crucial to avoiding overestimation. Do your research and math. Add up the costs. Research how much you could rent out a furnished place, similar to yours in size and location. Figure it won't stay rented every day. Add the cost of the furniture. You must have insurance if someone ruins your belongings or gets injured because of a problem in your unit. Do your addition and subtraction. Then, determine if the risk is worth the cost you would put up to make this work. Susan's 132% return on investment. Susan began with a calculated step, signing a 2-year lease for a charming house. She put down $1,100 as a security deposit and secured the property for $1,000 monthly rent. She understood that the upfront investment was essential for the potential return, owning a property and renting it out as a short-term rental. What are the risks of rental arbitrage? Market dependence. The success of rental arbitrage relies heavily on the local market demand for short-term stays. Economic downturns or shifts in travel trends will affect profitability. Regulatory uncertainty. Many cities have regulations surrounding short-term rentals. Legal restrictions can lead to fines or even bans on renting out properties on a short-term basis. Operational challenges. Managing multiple properties can be time-consuming and stressful, especially during peak booking periods. What are the risks of owning a short-term rental? Vacancy concerns. Short-term rentals are subject to seasonal fluctuations, and vacant periods can affect your profit. Property damage. Frequent turnover of guests increases the risk of property damage, potentially leading to unexpected expenses. Negative reviews. Critical reviews can affect your property's reputation, leading to decreased bookings.
Hey, I'm Mike. I did my homework. Or at least I thought I knew what I was doing. I watched all these videos online and saw how much money people made with rental arbitrage. I, too, wanted that success. The videos made it seem so easy. Rent a place. Make it look nice. Rent it out to vacationers. Make double your costs. My rental arbitrage venture took an unforeseen twist, spiraling into misfortunes that left me financially battered and disheartened. I spent 2 years saving up. I knew from watching the videos I'd need about $10,000 to get started. My job and low cost of living allowed me to save a sizable chunk of my money each month. Once I had the savings, I secured a promising deal on a 3-bedroom suburban house in Atlanta, bound by a contract demanding $24,000 rent paid over the year. That means I was on the hook for $2,000 a month. If all else fails, my job could afford the monthly lease. Sure enough, all failed. Initially, I had everything mapped out meticulously, poised to tap into the promising short-term rental market. But fate had unique plans. Laws shifted as I was ready to roll out this venture. This town's once permissible short-term rentals were now deemed illegal, forcing me to adjust my strategy rapidly. The newly imposed regulation mandated 30 days or more rentals, putting a significant damper on my quick start plans. I was determined to make the best of a challenging situation. Instead of vacationers, I targeted traveling nurses who sought convenient housing near the hospital. My adaptation was successful, with a traveling nurse quickly becoming my first tenant. However, this success was short-lived, as the nurse discovered the dishwasher was dysfunctional upon moving in. For me to fix the dishwasher, it would have cost me a bundle of money. Cash I didn't feel I should spend. After all, this was the landlord's responsibility. I deferred the repair to them. Regrettably, the landlord's sluggish response intensified the problem. The maintenance team's repeated attempts at repair yielded no results, causing the nurse to break her lease and vacate the premises. The eventual replacement of the dishwasher occurred just after her departure, leaving me with a vacant property and mounting expenses. I still had to pay rent for this house, but my only income was my job. Besides, paying rent on an empty home, the unfavorable review the nurse left further impeded my progress. No one wanted to rent a place with a negative review, even though I felt it wasn't my fault. The house remained unoccupied. I eventually leased the home hastily because of desperation. Unfortunately, the tenants I got proved problematic. They caused substantial damage to the property and wreaked havoc on my furniture. Although the landlord insured the house, my furniture and kitchen items were not, causing more expense when I discovered they had destroyed and stolen my stuff when they moved out. The accumulated losses weighed heavily on me, leaving me disheartened and weary. In a last glimmer of hope, I secured a rental agreement with another traveling nurse, allowing me to regain stability. However, the roller coaster of setbacks was far from over. Just as my lease was nearing its conclusion, my hopes were dashed when the landlord unexpectedly refused to renew the lease agreement, ending my ability to continue the sublet arrangement. The yearly figures told a sobering tale. My annual rental costs of $24,000 and mounting repair expenses resulted in an expenditure of $32,000. Although I had gained $9,000 in revenue, the stark reality of my situation was undeniable. My return on investment ROI painted a bleak picture with a staggering negative 71%.
Through unfortunate events and unforeseen circumstances, Mike's rental arbitrage endeavor had crumbled into a costly venture. The harsh lessons learned were etched deep, reminding him of the unpredictable nature of real estate and the perils of placing all his bets on the allure of a quick profit. How to be successful at rental arbitrage. Through research. Before investing, understand the local real estate market, legal regulations, and short-term rental demand. Effective marketing. Invest in high-quality photos, detailed descriptions, and competitive pricing to attract guests. Exceptional guest experience. Providing a clean, comfortable, and well-maintained property can lead to positive reviews and repeat bookings. Your rental needs to be an attractive place people would want to stay. Paint, decorations, and proximity to area attractions are essential. Financial discipline. Carefully manage expenses, track income and expenses, and regularly reassess the profitability of your properties. The longer the lease, the less likely the rental renewal cost will increase. The longer the lease, the more you can continue subletting the unit. Use an LLC to rent or sublease the unit to rent out to people. If your landlord doesn't allow your LLC to rent the unit, you can still sublet it to your LLC, then rent it out from your company. Running the business through your LLC will limit your liability, taking your assets, from financial consequences. What's the truth about rental arbitrage? Rental arbitrage is not a guaranteed path to riches. It requires strategic planning, due diligence, and the willingness to adapt to changing market conditions. While success stories are on the internet, they're often balanced by cautionary tales of unforeseen challenges and financial setbacks. Most people fail because of complaints from neighbors and guests. If you didn't do your research, you may not have the permits or legality to rent it out. It won't get rented if you don't market the location well. When people overcharge for cleaning fees, bad reviews come through and decrease the likelihood of future rentals. Keep the place clean and have nice bedding. You fail because you didn't predict the risks of the future, like having liability insurance and enough money to pay the bills. It takes work, time-consuming effort with a host mentality. You must be tech-savvy and respond to guests quickly. In conclusion, rental arbitrage presents an exciting opportunity for real estate enthusiasts to tap into the lucrative world of short-term rentals. Subletting can be done with minimal money and no loans, also called leverage. However, success hinges on a thorough understanding of the local market, careful financial planning, efficient property management, and navigating potential risks and challenges. As with any investment venture, the truth about rental arbitrage lies in the balance between optimism and a realistic assessment of the market dynamics and potential pitfalls.